friends, it's Kim back from Making Creative Memories in Time, and I am plugging right along with my nephew's 2006 album, filling in the gaps so that this year can be complete. And I am working on an Easter layout for 2006, only almost 20 years ago. And I am using Springtime Soiree Creative Memories, and I wanted to pull the project playbook, and I am working on this sketch. I will not be using like this base page, and I will not be using the punch. I will not be using those stickers because I really want this to be Easter themed, even though the cute little wagon works, the bicycle works, you know, the boot with the tulips works. And I may pull like the boot with the tulips or something, maybe the wagon. We'll see. But the bones, I'm keeping the bones of this sketch. And let's just jump right into it. So just to save up some time, I already have everything cut, everything already matted and ready to go. And I absolutely love, so this is just a highlight of the day. It starts out with Ashley and John at their house, my sister taking a photo before they ever got out of bed. And then when they're seeing their Easter baskets that the Easter Bunny left for them. And then these pictures are discovering what's in their Easter baskets. This is over here because they live in a couple counties over. This is over when we went to church that day. And John in his cute little suit and Ashley in her little dress. John was sleepy and wanted to hug my dad. Coloring Easter eggs, hunting Easter eggs. Of course, Ashley had to put on like one of her Poppy's big t-shirts to keep the Easter egg color off of her clothes. John changed. So just a highlight. Absolutely love it. But let's take a look quickly at what I did for my base pages. So for my base pages, I used one of the sort of lilac papers, and I gutted that. You guys know me, you know I love to gut my paper. It's gutted at 1 inch, and then my bright white cardstock is 11.5 by 11.5. I took off a 1/2 inch all the way around. So let's go ahead and just get started attaching. I think I am going to align this. This is a 4.5 by 12 inch. I think I am going to align this at 1 inch. And then this piece, this was what the project playbook showed that had the watering can punch at the top. I'm not going to be using that watering can punch. So this is 6 by 7 3/4. Okay. So I think, yeah, let's go to like 1 inch. Let's go to 3/4. So I had trimmed these 1/4 inch strips on the actual layout. The project playbook, they used some stickers, border stickers, and some of the border pieces. What I was thinking is that I may do something like this. Let's line this up at 1/4. I'm going to have to take that off for just a hot minute. Y'all know I like to take my page down so that it doesn't wiggle around on me and I can use my measurements on my mat. Move my photos because my silicone mat sticks to my photos. Doesn't stick to the glossy ones. It just sticks to the ones from my picture mate. I don't even know why that is, but so let's line this up at 1/4. And that's going to give the teeny tiniest, and I do mean teeny tiniest, little white sliver of cardstock over on this side. And I may need to trim that little piece off right there, and that's okay if I do. Okay, and then we're going to let this align. Ooh, we are definitely crooked. Y'all know I try to be a perfectionist in recovery. You laugh and you hear me say that all the time. This is going to be a super sweet page. And you know, sometimes I will stick pretty true to a creative memory sketch. And then other times I will sort of zhuzh it up a little and make my own thing with it. This one I liked because I knew I had a lot of photos. I wanted to just pull the highlights. So the way I do my albums, and you guys leave me a comment because I'm curious about this. Like, I do albums for the nieces and the nephews, okay? And I do family albums. So so Ashley is going to have these pictures in her album. They're going to be in John's album, and they are going to be in the family album. So do you guys do that too? Like, you'll create multiple albums. Now, in the family album, there's going to be pictures of, like, my grandmother who's no longer here, my uncle who's no longer here. So there's going to be all different kinds of pictures in the family album, where this is mostly just the kids and like highlighting the fun that they had on Easter, whereas in the family album it's going to be a little bit of everybody. Like, it's going to depict our Easter dinner, the location, like my mom, when my mom and dad still lived here before they moved to Tennessee. My mom always hosted dinner on Easter Sunday after church. It's pretty straight. Let me take a peek at that, friends. Okay, so there we go. We're starting with this page. And I felt like I needed that yellow to help pull your eye into where the photos are, okay? Because this is a busy paper, which is why I decided to go with the 16th of a white matte, and then I did the 16th of this same purple to pull that in, and then I did a little bit bolder. I did like an 1/8 inch all the way around of that avocado, because I felt like that would really pull your eye in. And on these, because it's that brighter avocado, I did the 1/8 inch white matte. So I'm feeling this, friends. I am feeling this. But yes, I would love to hear, do you have family albums, and do you do albums for each of the kids? Like, me and Ben didn't have kids, so my nieces and my nephews and my greats, that's where my kids come from, right? We're going to shift this just a little because I sort of want the same amount of room at the top and the bottom. Again, this is why your girl uses that repositionable adhesive. And if you know me and you follow me here on YouTube, you know that I am not the person who likes a lot of photos, but because I wanted this to capture the sweetness and innocence of a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old on Easter morning, and just highlights throughout the day, that is why I chose to do the extra photos, okay? So let's just sort of move this for a minute because I'm going to need to glue my these little strips. And that page had, and we're going to have to take this off, that page had picture mate photos. And for whatever reason, the picture mate, oh no, let's see. That came in about 3/4. Trying to make sure I'm getting that right, friends. And we will know when we glue this page down. And you know, if you're using repositionable adhesive, you can use your finger to rub, right? And I see I'm a tad bit short right there. I'm okay with that. That doesn't hurt my feelings. Again, I'm learning how to be a recovering perfectionist. I may eventually become one, and again, I may not. And let's see, I'm just going to go ahead because I can patch that and nobody will ever know except you who are watching this, because when it goes in the album it will not be noticeable. And I could just as easily leave it, but I'm feeling like I want to do it. I just hand trimmed those. I did not bring in the trimmer. And that one is a itty little bit short too. Trim it right off. Matter of fact, let's raise this up. I think it'll be easier if I do it this way. And it will not even be noticeable if I do it that way. So let's do that over here too. I should just be not worried about this, but here we are. So at least I've not hit the recovering perfectionist yet. Not yet. And then this is going to be about 3 inches up because we're going to stamp a title. Such beautiful paper. And I have Easter paper from Close to My Heart, but I really wanted to use this Springtime Soiree. Really wanted to use this collection because I love these greens and yellows and lilacs together. Let's take a peek at that. And to me, these just scream springtime. And I think I'm finished with this guy. Okay, so let's get our pictures attached and we can do our embellishing, our title. And I think you guys are going to love what I chose to embellish. And again, I may actually pull from some of the stickers. I may. I'm not sure. I may and I may not. And hopefully you can see how using these yellow borders and this darker green really just pulls your eye, like it helps pull your eye directly to the center. Okay, so I used a couple different stamps to create embellishments. I created and I used my alcohol markers to color some bunnies. Okay, that came from this stamp set, and my title is going to be this Happy Easter. I also stamped these little chicks because, you know, can it really be Easter without the little chicks? And then I did this little tag that says, hey, chick, because I thought that would be cute. And then I pulled, and I want to leave this one out because I'm going to be using this one. And then I pulled a faucet that has these little ovals that could work in a pumpkin, and I created Easter eggs. I love it. Oh, I love it. So, and I just stamped them in colors that sort of corresponded. Now, this is periwinkle, and I sort of thought this color was periwinkle. It's a little bit blue, but I'm good with it. And then I did 2 in lilac, I did 2 in honey butter, and I did 1 in avocado. So we're going to pull those in, but first we want to come down here and we want to stamp our Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Easter Bunny. And I'm going to find a block. We're going to start with Easter. And anytime I stamp, I like to put a foam piece behind. Now, this is a stamp that either has never been used or was only used once. And we're going to season it, get all the sort of sticky off. And all we do for that, friends, is just rub it back and forth on the palm of our hand. And what it does is that seasons and gets all of that stick off so that you get a much nicer, crisp, pretty stamp. Okay, so this is going to say Happy Easter. And I think this is going to be the double bunny. So I want to sort of, and I'm going to do the double bunny here. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at where I need to put this, and definitely I want to look at the happy and make sure I'm going to have room for this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp this in intense black ink because I'm going to be coloring. Now, intense black ink, and I have to be careful. I had re-inked on that pad. Let me pull in. So here's a little lesson for you guys. If you will be coloring and using alcohol markers, and you are going to be using some type of permanent ink that will not bleed, I had several months ago re-inked this pad, and there was a spot that didn't need re-inker, and it caused, like, I have to be careful because you can see I've got nice lines, and then right there it's really thick. So I'm going to pull my other ink pad, my other intense black, and we're probably just going to practice. And here, and it doesn't matter if I go over this. So here is like my advice to you: if you stamp on your page, or even if you stamp on something that you trim out and put on your page, practice. There's nothing wrong with practicing, friends. And yes, that is going to give me what I want. Let's straighten our page up. And I'm standing, and I do apologize if my head gets in the way. So I have 2 of these ink pads, and I had re-inked one months ago and just got too much in it in a couple different spots. And there we go. For better or worse. Look, now right there, it didn't necessarily ink as much as I want, but we'll use a pen and straighten that up. And I always clean my stamps, and I just use my handy dandy cloth that I always use. You all know that's my favorite cloth, right? And then we're going to put Happy. And we're going to season that stamp. Now, we're not going to be coloring this, but we're just going to use this because it's already there. And it's going to sort of go right over. Now, we're going to clean that stamp. And we are going to come back in with this stamp, but we're not going to use black. We're going to use our avocado. I should have known not to lay that there. Season it. And this is our avocado. And this is going to stamp right here at the bottom. Oh, I love it. We're going to come back and color those in. You're not going to be able to see all of them colored, but you're going to be able to see some of them colored. Okay, we're going to let that dry just a minute, and we're going to go on around the page, embellishing. Okay, so I'm thinking I want that bunny there. And what I need here, I feel like I need like a blue Easter egg. And maybe like a little chick right there. And that's going to be what I need for this cluster. I feel like if I tried to do a yellow Easter egg, like there's just too much yellow, there's too much green right here, and lilac I feel like would just get lost. So we're going to stick to just the one Easter egg. Okay, we're going to put in some foam. These are the thin foam dots. And I'm just going, or foam squares, I'm just going up the middle. These came from scrapbook.com. And let's just go ahead and put that right there. Now this little guy, we are just going to use some liquid adhesive. We're not going to pop dot him. We're just going to use some liquid adhesive. And then we're just going to take this Easter egg and we're going to just put foam on this one side, because it's going to overlay on the photos, which are already a little bit layered anyway. And if we put foam there, it's going to seem a little uneven. Oh, I love it. I love it. We're going to continue to embellish, and then we're going to come back and color these pieces. Okay. All right. Now, when we think about eye movement, right? There's a lot of photos happening here. We've got 8 photos on 2 pages. That's a lot for me, right? So typically I would say, let's do a visual triangle. And I think we're still going to stick to a visual triangle. But what we're going to do is, I think we're going to do, a little hey chick, like we want to make this so that we have a little cluster up here. Let's see, if we did, how about if we did an Easter egg? I feel like I want the green down here and yellow maybe. How about up here? Let's just see what this is like. And we did the little hey chick. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure that this is going to fly. We're going to just test out the waters. And it doesn't matter to me that John has little eggs coming at the top of his head. That does not matter to me at all. Let's go ahead and put, because I do think I'm going to leave these. Let's put a foam dot back here. I don't have to pull the stick off. It's just so it doesn't smush in the weight of the book. Okay. And then here, more liquid adhesive. And then here we'll just have the little hey chick. And you know we'll have to come back and put just a little bit of twine or something there. And then over here, let's see. If I have, I like this Somebody Loves You. Let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to let this be my journal spot. So we're not going to do anything. We're going to do, maybe what we'll do is have our Easter eggs and our bunny like this. And then this is going to be our journal spot. Because I have to have a space to journal, friends. So let's do this green egg. Sort of like right there. Do the bunny. And this egg. And then we'll have the little chick like right there. We have to have a spot to journal. We absolutely have to have a spot to journal. And how about if we have this egg like he's just toppled over? And then we'll do our little chick right here. We're almost finished, friends. We have to do a little coloring over here. But we are almost finished. So I ended up with a lilac egg I didn't use. And we may use that lilac egg there. And we ended up with the bunny I didn't use. But what I do with anything I don't use, I put it right back in the same envelope that the stamp came from. I kind of like that. I kind of do. I think we're going to use this dusty purple. Ooh, that is a beautiful shade. So on this dusty purple, and I'm intentionally moving this. Hopefully you're going to be able to see. Let me zoom in just a little because I want you to be able to see this much better. So we're going to come in. Now I'm going to avoid anywhere I stamped that green. And we're just going to add Now, I'm not trying to do cute shading and all that with this. We are just using this one color, and we're filling in with our alcohol marker, not doing any kind of cute shading. And I'm just being careful around that green because the green will smear, okay? And now here, remember I told you we'll come back with the pen and fix where that did not stamp very nicely, but we'll fix that, friends. And this is the reason that you want to stamp when you're going to color with some type of permanent ink, is so that it doesn't smear. And we'll come back to that, I promise. I even thought about stamping my flowers with black, but I didn't want this to be such heavy black down here at the bottom of this page. And it's been a hot minute since I have used my alcohol markers, and I forgot just how therapeutic they are. They are. Like, whenever you color, it is so therapeutic. Now, if you don't have stamps and you want to create this, you can totally use whatever your die cut machine is. If you have any kind of thin cuts, thinlits, or anything of that nature to cut a title, you can use your Cricut or your Brother, whatever your whatever your cutting system is, you can totally do that. Okay, now let me come in. I want to color these flowers and things first, so let's come in with a little bit of yellow, and I am going to pull this. This is called Citrus Blend, and let's see, this should be a brighter yellow. So I'm just going to come in here and there where my yellow flowers are, or where the flowers are. And I want to give them the ones that you can see, like you can't see that one. So just the ones that you can see, we want to give a little bit of yellow to, okay? And then I am going to come in with, and I really don't know, I guess I'm going to use like a little bit of a brighter green. I started to do pink, but I didn't want to. I don't really have pink anywhere else, so I didn't want to do that. Now, on our Easter eggs, let's come in with, I want something that's going to stand out, okay? So let's find a shade. On our Easter eggs, we're going to come in with our periwinkle ink. I squeezed some in the lid. And then this is a water brush that already has water in it. You can pick these up at any dollar store. And I'm just going to pick up my brush is too wet. I can tell. And we're just going to color these eggs that periwinkle color. And then this one, it doesn't matter to me that the eggs are all going to be periwinkle. We're going to come back with our pen too. And sort of, that gives that cute little, and then we're just going to come in and blot where we had water. Did you know you can use your ink pen, your ink trays to do cute stuff like that? So we are going to work on this area right here. It's not perfect. But remember, I am a perfectionist in recovery. Just go ahead and draw these Easter eggs on around. I didn't want the whole thing in black. I only wanted parts to be outlined in black, and that's why I didn't stamp the whole thing in black. If you're sitting here saying, why did you not stamp that in black in the first place? I didn't want everything stamped in black. I wanted the grass to be green. I love it. That flower just sort of gets lost, but it's okay. I love it. I think, let me zoom back out. I think the only thing that this page needs at this point, now it's a lot for me, right? If you guys follow me, you know this is a lot for me. I think at this point we need just a little bit of bling. And I am looking for some clear bling. And I want the multi-size bling. Here we go. Some multi-size bling. Oh, I was going to do something right up there too. I'm liking this much smaller bling. And let's do a little. So there's a little triangle bling. I don't necessarily know that I like that one where it ended up. And it may have to stay there because it may tear my paper. Yep, it tore my paper, so it's going to stay there. Let's see if this one will lift. Nope. Yeah. No, it tore the paper too. Okay, and then over here, we're going to do 1, 2, and let's do it where it's going to be a little bit more noticeable right there. And then that'll be our little journal spot. And then up here, we're just going to do a couple. We don't have another little one. So we'll do, and that's our little, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, I do need to put a little bit of twine right there. And let's stick some twine right here. And we'll put a little glue dot under that, friends, just to hold it. Oh, I love it. I love it. So let's take a quick look. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. There's a little bit better look at the title and the Easter eggs. Super cute. Let's pull these off. We don't need them anymore. There's the little hay chick. That little embellishment, and then this is going to be my journal spot. I love it. Hopefully you enjoyed my take on this layout from the Springtime Soiree Project Playbook. And it's a lot of photos for me, right? I took myself a little bit outside my comfort zone, but this is going to give a very good highlight in my nephew's album for his Easter 2006. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, friends, and happy scrapping.